Is this the ultimate e-ink tablet? This is the latest Onyx Boox Note Air 5C, and in this video I'll talk about its features, what's good about it, as well as what's not so good about it. To start off, let's talk about design and build quality. The Note Air 5C uses a very similar body as the last device, the Note Air 4C. It has a smooth metallic shell and a glass screen. Aesthetically, it looks very smooth and pleasing. But don't mistake smoothness for fragility, because it feels like it's built tough. It doesn't feel cheap or plasticky. The aluminum body is spot on, sleek, slim, professional, and tough. However, this toughness comes at a cost. It weighs about 440 grams, that's not including the folio. So whilst it's comfortable to hold, you don't want to be holding it with one hand for a long time. It uses a USB-C port, which is on the left-hand side and is used for charging and data transfer. On the top, you will find the power button, which is also used as a fingerprint scanner. The USB port's placement on the left caused awkwardness in terms of charging for the previous device. New folios have a space for charging this, so you don't have to keep the folio open. Talking about awkwardness, well, the placement of the pen next to the volume buttons is somewhat awkward. Sometimes when I put the pen down, it accidentally presses the volume buttons. Right next to the charging port is the micro SD card reader. You can put additional memory up to 2 TB through it. I found the device to be very well designed. There's no creaking, rattling, or anything of that sort. It feels tough and robust, but the placement of the pen could have been a bit better. In terms of hardware, the Note Air 5C uses a Snapdragon 750G octa-core processor. This is the same as the previous model, the Note Air 4C. The clock speed is 2 GHz, which is reasonably fast. You also get 6 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage capacity. You can expand this by using a micro SD card slot up to 2 TB. This device doesn't just have a CPU, but it also has a GPU, which is used to run Boox Super Refresh technology. This technology makes sure that third-party apps can be configured to be used on the e-ink device. Because of BSR, you get faster refresh when it comes to things like web browsing or even playing videos. Now, for super nerds out there, here's the spec list. I used CPU Z app to pull this up. It's essentially identical to the Note Air 4C, but it does feel a bit snappier than the 4C. I used the Geekbench 6 CPU benchmark app to understand the speed better, but I got invalid results. Sometimes when you get invalid results, it is because the processor has been overclocked. So that could explain why it might feel snappier. Overall, it's got good performance, and this shows when you are multitasking. The speed is great, and I haven't had any issues. This Note Air 5C uses a 10.3-inch Kaleido 3 color e-ink display. It's roughly the size of an A5 page. The screen is Carta 1200. In terms of resolution, you can expect a monochrome resolution of 1860 into 2480, which is 300 ppi, super crisp and sharp for reading. But as soon as color kicks in, the screen resolution drops to 930 into 1240, which is 150 ppi, half the resolution of black and whites. Kaleido 3 is great, but it has drawbacks. One of the problems with Kaleido 3 is that it makes the screen appear darker. Monochrome e-ink devices are brighter and whiter. Comparatively, this device is darker. Have a look at how it compares to my Boox Go 7 monochrome. But you can fix this darkness by using the front light. In fact, the front light is quite bright, and I think you will rarely need to use it more than 80%. In terms of ghosting, Kaleido screens do have frequent ghosting than monochrome screens. Having said that, for this device, the ghosting is not frustratingly frequent. It's there, but it's manageable in my opinion. This screen has a Wacom EMR layer, so any Wacom compatible stylus should work fine with it. Also, there is a paper-like film on the surface which gives the satisfying writing experience. Without that layer, it would be just like writing on a glass-like texture. Overall, I'm satisfied with how the screen works. It's quite nice. Is it dark? Yes, it is, but that goes with any color e-ink tablet. I usually use this in front of a window or a lamp without any lights, but at other times you really need to activate the front light to make it usable. In terms of writing, I really like the experience. It has just the right amount of roughness and friction. You can hear the satisfying writing on paper sound. It is not at all like writing on glass or a slippery surface. The pen uses a soft nib which has a rounded point. This gives a good level of precision, but it's important to note that because there is a front light layer between the surface layer and the e-ink layer, there is a very tiny gap between where the stylus touches the screen and where the line appears. If you look at it super carefully, you might notice you are writing slightly below the screen. Now, I'm being very picky here. Most people wouldn't really notice this at all. In terms of lag, there is very little, if any, lag when writing. There is absolutely no delay. What you write appears instantly. Writing is really a joy on this tablet. Of course, it isn't as precise as non-frontlit tablets, but in the class of frontlit tablets, this is a winner. In terms of connectivity, like any other tablet, it uses Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You can freely use the internet and connect your headphones, keyboard, or any other peripherals. You can use USB-C for OTG connections, hooking up hard drives, USB sticks, and so on. Unlike the previous models, this has pogo pins. I purchased this without the keyboard because I already have a Bluetooth keyboard which works very well. But if you really want the keyboard, it's highly recommended to get the original one because it makes the most of the pogo pins. The Note Air 5C also has a G sensor which can help automatically orient the screen between portrait and landscape mode. There's also a microphone and dual speakers. You can use the microphone for recording notes or meetings. What is the best e-ink tablet? Speakers can be used for text-to-speech function or even listening to music or videos. I received this Boox Note Air 5C this morning, and in this video I'll give you my first impressions. Let's start with unboxing. But let's not expect too much from these. They are very, very basic. The fingerprint scanner is built into the power button, so if you secure your device by using a PIN or password, you can set it up so that it can let you in via the biometric fingerprint scanner. It's much simpler than manually typing your password or PIN each time. In terms of battery, the Note Air 5C has the same battery as its predecessor. It's 3700 mAh. Because this device has a GPU and super refresh technology, this is going to be power hungry. It will drain the battery much quicker, and you can save battery by limiting the use of the front light and Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Turn them off when they are not required. Because the same battery as the Note Air 4C, we roughly know the drain you can expect. It drains about 6% per hour when taking notes, it drains 1% per hour when reading without lights, and when the front light is on, add 1% more. Roughly, this should last you about 4 days with medium use. In terms of accessories, because I bought this directly from Boox, it came with a folio cover, stylus, and spare marker tips. If you buy it from Amazon, you might just get the device and the stylus. But buying from Amazon has its own advantages, with easy return being one great advantage. This device comes with the latest Pen 3 stylus. It's an interesting design, it's thinner and taller than its predecessor. It works great, but for some users, this might be a bit too heavy. It's top heavy, and I was showing this to my wife and she seemed to think that it might cause discomfort after long use. Don't get me wrong, it's very comfortable and pleasant, but it's a bit too heavy, slightly unbalanced. Also, it comes with the nib compartment which closes securely, but why add the pen clip? Not a huge fan of this, to be honest. There's no eraser on the top, so you need to manually select the eraser when writing. In terms of nibs, Pen 3 uses soft replaceable nibs which provide a great writing experience, but you will wear them down when used regularly, so every couple of months you might need to get a new nib. But it's important to remember that Boox uses Wacom EMI technology, so you can use any third-party Wacom compatible stylus. You can attach the stylus magnetically to the right edge of the tablet. It's powerful enough to hold it in its place. I must note that you can mistakenly press volume buttons while putting the stylus in place. In terms of the Folio, I appreciate that you can use this case to use your tablets in different orientations. You can use it in landscape and portrait, and it's not all shaky or unstable at all. But what is this thing? Why make a removable flap for the pen? I'll probably lose this or never use it. This flap causes some issues with the device too. The magnet in it affects the writing. When this is placed under the device, the magnet is so strong that it wouldn't let you write on those spots where the flap is. So I've stopped using this flap. I'm much happier without it. I also have some wonderings about using magnetic folios. If magnets interfere with the device, then why include them? Why not move to some other design? I love these minus the flap. In terms of the software, by now you can probably tell the Note Air 5C is very similar to its predecessor. It's an incremental update. But where it sees the most change from the previous device is in its software. Unlike its predecessor, it uses Android 15, which means longer support and app compatibility. Also, Boox has confirmed through their European registration that they will be supporting this device for about 7 years. Now, we don't really know what that means, but what is certain is that this device is superior when it comes to software and software support. Overall, the Note Air 5C is a solid device. It's very versatile, packed with powerful features. I would recommend this in a heartbeat. But if you already own the Note Air 4C, I think you can do without it, because you already have most of the features, except for the software support. What do you think of this latest device? Would you purchase this? If not, why not? Let me know in the comments below, and please don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on latest e-ink news and reviews.